Hi and welcome everyone to another video. My name is Denis and today I'm going to show you my free draft for Game Week 16 of Fantasy Premier League, so let's just jump straight into it. Okay guys, so if you watched my content this season, you know that my free hit is active for Game Week 16 of Fantasy Premier League. This was my plan all along, so today we're going to discuss obviously about my free draft. We're going to discuss about the fixtures you should target, and we're also going to discuss about the best players to target obviously for a free hit, or even if you're not free hitting. We know that everyone right now has 5 free transfers because of AFCON, so maybe you're asking what to do with those transfers, so maybe you should target some of these players. Now, I think that this is going to be a really good exercise because obviously Game Week 15 is not over yet. We still have some games to be played tomorrow, also Manchester United, so I'm pretty sure my free draft is going to change a little bit during the week. Also, thinking about what's going to happen in the Champions League, in the European games, so we need to see what's going to happen. Firstly, before talking about my draft, I want to discuss a little bit about the fixtures. Now, sorry for my drawing skills. I just wanted to try to highlight the best fixtures to target if you're free in Game Week 16 or not. And at the moment, as you can see, with green, Burnley, Fulham, Arsenal, Wolverhampton, I think that you should have obviously some players from these teams. Brentford, Leeds. Now, I know that my plan was all along to use the free hit in Game Week 16, but I just thought that it was going to be much more easier to pick a free draft for Game Week 16, and it is really hard. I'm going to be honest with you, but we're going to discuss about that in a minute because a lot of teams have decent fixtures. Talking about Chelsea, who are going to play at home against Everton. Liverpool, again, it is a shame we have some questions mark there. I'm not going to move into that topic about Mohamed Salah, about Arne Slot. There's a really big crisis at the moment at Liverpool, so that's why I'm not really sure how many players I want to have on my free from Liverpool and from Brighton. Crystal Palace, Man City is the only fixture who I think that I want to avoid. I have 3 Crystal Palace players in my own team in Game Week 15, so I'm going to ship all of them out. I don't want to have any of them against Man City. And also about Man City, it's an away fixture and it's also against Crystal Palace, who are a decent defense. Fulham are just playing against Crystal Palace right now, so we need to see how that's going to end. But this would be a fixture I'm going to try to avoid to have any players if possible from this one, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Nottingham Forest, Spurs, again, not so interested in any Nottingham Forest players or Spurs players. Sunderland, Newcastle, it's interesting, but again, for Newcastle, it is an away game against Sunderland, who we know that they are a really good side. We saw against Liverpool, also at home, they are really decent. West Ham, Aston Villa, again, West Ham played really good today, so they are getting better and better, so I'm not so sure how many players from Aston Villa I want to have on my free. And now moving next, let's discuss a little bit about my free draft. Now, as you can see from the screen, I tried to stretch all of my budget into this free draft. Now again, maybe I'm going to do some changes obviously over the week. I'm really curious to see how many things are going to change, but I tried to maximize all my budget for this free team, and we're going to discuss about my free hit, and then we're going to see other possibilities. Obviously, I thought about a lot of other combinations and permutations. You can basically do pretty much anything you want with this free draft. You have a lot of money, you have a lot of interesting players, so you can make a lot of different drafts. Now let's talk a little bit about this one. Arsenal are going to play against Wolverhampton. They have some problems in defense. They lost to Aston Villa. I still think that Arsenal are the best defense in the Premier League, and at the moment, currently, as you can see from the screen, I'm going with 2 defenders from Arsenal because I just think that obviously the chances of a clean sheet, if I was to bet against for one team who is going to get a clean sheet in Game Week 16, it would be Arsenal. So going with double Arsenal defense makes a lot of sense. At the moment, I'm going with Timber and Hincapie. That's pretty much because I don't really want to go for Raya. I had Raya also in my own team, but I don't really want to go for him because his ceiling is just pretty much 6 points. So I want to try to go a little bit different. Timber, again, depending on how many minutes these players and Arsenal players are going to get in the Champions League, I'm going to have a better image to see which players I'm going to be more sure are going to start, because someone like Timber, he could be rested at some point. We saw that. Hopefully he's going to be rested in the Champions League. So Timber, if he's going to play as a center back, definitely is not that much attractive, because yeah, he's going to be getting better for defensive contributions, but he's going to lose a little bit of that attacking threat. And Hincapie also at 5.4 millions, he's a decent option on a free, also decent for defensive contributions. Now, let's talk a little bit about different options, right? Because this way I can show you why I picked those players. Again, there are a lot of permutations. Looking at the goalkeepers, if you're picking a goalkeeper for your free, again, Raya probably is the best one. Probably he has the better chance of getting a clean sheet. But as I said before, he's a lot of money. His ceiling is not that high. Even if he's going to get a clean sheet, it's going to be pretty much maximum 6 or 7 points, so something like that. With Alisson Becker, I don't think that I would go for any Liverpool defender at the moment. They are just too unpredictable, Liverpool in general, so I'm not so sure if I want to go for one of their defenders. Donnarumma, as I said before, I'm going to avoid the Man City defenders, especially. Sanchez is another option. As you can see from the screen, Sanchez is my choice of a goalkeeper at the moment. He's really cheap. 4.8. I think that Chelsea are a good defense, and Chelsea, if I'm not wrong, have the second best chance of getting a clean sheet this gaming. So that's why I have two defenders from Chelsea, two defenders from Arsenal, as you can see from the screen. Now, let's see other defenders who I could consider. Someone like Kelleher for 4.5 millions, who's going to play against Leeds. But again, I just trust Sanchez more for just 0.3 millions more. Other goalkeepers would be Leno, who's going to play against Burnley away. But even some team like Burnley, they are just getting better and better. They scored against Newcastle. They should have scored also against Crystal Palace in Game Week 14. So I'm not so sure how sure I am Fulham are going to keep a clean sheet against Burnley, but definitely it's a good fixture. If this fixture against Burnley would be at home, I would be much more comfortable with picking Fulham defenders. And again, we're going to discuss about Fulham defenders. They are really interesting, but if I have the choice right now to pick a defender from Arsenal or a defender from Fulham, you know which pick I'm going to go. Obviously, a defender from Arsenal. Other goalkeepers, again, someone like Ramsdale against Sunderland away, and probably someone like Martinez from Aston Villa, who is going to play against West Ham away. But as I said before, I can see West Ham scoring. They draw, I think, 1-1 with Brighton just few minutes ago. So again, these are pretty much the choices. I think that if I was to pick right now, probably would be Sanchez. Let's see if that's going to change during the week. My other defender is Reece James from Chelsea, which again, here there are some doubts. Obviously, Reece James is not playing all the games for Chelsea, and he could be well rested for this game. But again, let's see if he's going to play in the Champions League, if he's going to get decent minutes. I mean, not a lot of minutes in the Champions League. I really want to go for defender from Chelsea, and it would be someone like Reece James or Cucurella, because I want to have also some attacking threat with Reece James. We know that he's also on some set pieces. He's not good for defensive contributions, but it is what it is. I just want to go a little bit more fun on my free, and Reece James is just a really nice option to have, because probably I'm not going to have Reece James in FPL this season in my own team, but on a free I think that it is okay. And as I said before, I think that Chelsea are a really good defense, and they are playing at home against Everton. So it makes a lot of sense to have players from Chelsea. My third player from Arsenal, who probably a lot of people are going to sell to buy Declan Rice, and I obviously get it, is Bukayo Saka at the moment. Depending on the minutes he's going to get again in the Champions League, I'm going to see if I want to include him on my free. But again, if I'm not going to include someone like Bukayo Saka, then what am I going to spend all my money with? Because at the moment, as you can see from my free draft, I still have Erling Haaland in this draft, and again, he's not going to be my captain. Erling Haaland is not going to be my captain anyway on this free, but I'm also thinking about going without Haaland, which may sound a little bit crazy. Again, he blanked against Leeds, he blanked against Sunderland, really really disappointed for the owners obviously, and he's hold against Fulham. So again, Crystal Palace away is a tough fixture in my mind. Again, they have a lot of fixtures. A lot of people are talking about Crystal Palace being tired, and maybe obviously someone like Erling Haaland could easily score against them. But I'm willing to take that chance. The only problem right now is that I don't really know what to do with all the money, because if I'm not going to go for someone like Mohamed Salah, what I'm going to do. But we're going to discuss also about alternatives. At the moment, I'm still willing to go against Erling Haaland, but right now he's here in the draft because I have the money to go for him. So that's the only reason. So Bukayo Saka, again, for Arsenal, depending on the minutes in the Champions League, I could look to buy someone like Eberechi Eze, someone like Declan Rice. But Declan Rice, again, I think that he's a great pick in your own team. I think that long term he's a really good value player at 7 millions or something like that. But on a free, it's just not that funny. Against Wolverhampton, probably he's not going to get even defensive contributions, but fair enough, he's going to be really a threat, obviously, from the set pieces. So yeah, I could see some attacking returns for someone like Declan Rice, but it's just not such an exciting pick like someone like Bukayo Saka. So let's be honest. Saka Palmer. Palmer again, he played 57 minutes, I think, against Burnley. Depending on the minutes in the Champions League, I know that I repeated myself a lot about that, but again, this is just a provisory free draft. Probably a lot of things are going to change. At the moment, I think that I should include Cole Palmer on my free because this is a really nice opportunity to have him. Because if we look at the fixtures for Palmer, even if you want to buy him, okay, it's a nice fixture against Everton, but then it's Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Man City. So again, I'm not so sure how many people want to have Cole Palmer into this team, into their team. Obviously, he's a huge differential at the moment, so that's one of the reasons I want to include him in my free. He's on set pieces, on penalties. We know that it's just the hope that he's going to get some good minutes. I just hope that he's going to get 70, 80, close to 90 minutes against Everton. If I think that that's going to happen, yeah, 100%, I'm just going to include Cole Palmer in my free draft because he's a huge differential and he could really help my rank a lot. Bruno Fernandes, he's in my own team. Again, he's pretty much here just because I have the money to have him, but I'm just not sure if I want to include him also because a fixture against Bournemouth is not the best fixture. It's not like Bruno Fernandes is playing against Wolverhampton or against Burnley or against West Ham. So again, it's at home. He's decent for the points. It's just not such an exciting pick on a free hit. My last midfielder is Wilson from Fulham. He just scored against Crystal Palace, but I for sure guarantee you that I had him in my free draft before he scored. So again, if he's going to do well against Crystal Palace, if he's going to get good minutes, I think that he's a really nice punt on a free. 5.2 millions, he's really cheap. Obviously, you have a lot of money to spend on a free. So going for some players from Fulham, I really want to do that because they're going to play against Burnley. I'm not sure if I want to go for someone like Anderson, someone like, I don't feel like I want to go for a double Fulham defense or something like that. I just think that there's maybe more value in attack against Burnley. Now, I would prefer for that fixture to be at home because Burnley are a little bit better when they are playing at home. But yeah, going for someone like Wilson makes a lot of sense. Haaland, Raul Jimenez, and Thiago. Again, talking real short about my forward line. Erling Haaland is a player who I'm willing to not get on my free because I think that this is a nice opportunity to go against him. But at the same time, if you're going to go against Erling Haaland, and a lot of people probably are still going to captain Erling Haaland, it could be a disaster. So I'm pretty sure about that. I obviously know that it could be a disaster, but I'm willing to go against the crowd. And yeah, it's just we don't have a lot of options in attack. Let's just move to the strikers. My other two strikers are Raul Jimenez, who's a good player at the moment. He's on penalties. Rodrigo Muniz is out, so we expect him to play against Burnley. So yeah, he's a really nice budget pick if you want him on a free. And Thiago the same. Here I could go maybe against someone like Thiago, but I just don't want to be more smarter than just for the sake of it because I could go for another striker, right? To take a punt because Thiago's ownership is pretty big. He's going to play against Leeds. Maybe it's not going to be such an easy fixture for him. And obviously there are a lot of strikers more exciting to own than Thiago, but I just feel like this is me trying to not go for Thiago for the sake of it. I want to go different on a free. I want to catch the upside, but at the same time, I just think that Thiago playing at home on penalties against Leeds probably is going to get close to 90 minutes. I just think that he's a good pick on a free or not. Now, if we look at the strikers available for Game Week 16, it's Thiago. Mateta again is going to play against Man City, so no way I'm going to have Mateta on my free. So Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike, they are going to be huge differentials differentials, obviously, and I could go for one of them if I don't want to go with Erling Haaland. It's just I don't really trust the minutes at the moment for either of them. Ekitike scored 2 goals last night. We need to see if he's going to play in the Champions League. If Alexander Isak is going to play in the Champions League, then I could go for a punt for Ekitike against Brighton at home. But again, even that, I'm not going to be 100% sure if Ekitike is going to start anyway in the Premier League. And even if he's going to start, probably he's not going to get close to 90 minutes. But again, I think that Ekitike should start from now on because he is playing really good, and I think that he should get more minutes at Liverpool. But I'm just not sure if I want to go there. Also, if Mohamed Salah he's not going to play and Isak is going to play, probably he's also going to be on penalty. So I could really go with a punt with Isak or Ekitike, but I'm just not sure at the moment. Raul Jimenez, as I said before, Voltemad against Sunderland away, probably I'm going to avoid because we have, in my opinion, better strikers to look to. Bowen against Aston Villa at home, not the best fixture. Igor Jesus, Richarlison, Watkins could be an option. Again, at 8.5 millions, he's going to play against West Ham away. I think that this is a good fixture. Obviously, he scored 2 goals, I think, in game week 15. The minutes are just not amazing for Watkins, and on a free, I think that you should take some risks, definitely with some players maybe who are not going to get 90 minutes, but you don't really need to have a lot of risk. So again, I could have someone like Watkins, definitely, and I'm going to think about it, but pretty much that's it. I'm not going to go for João Pedro, I'm not going to go for Strand Larsen, I'm not going to go for Welbeck, even though he's going to play against Liverpool. So yeah, pretty much these are the options. Someone like Gyökeres, again, he could be an option, 8.8 millions. I can afford him if I'm going to go without Haaland. A really nice fixture against Wolverhampton at home, and also I'm going to think about going maybe with two attackers from Arsenal, maybe an Odegaard, maybe an Eze, maybe a Gyökeres, but I really need to see how Arsenal are going to play in the Champions League, and do I trust Gyökeres to play close to 90 minutes at the moment? To be honest with you, I don't do that, and I'm not even sure if he's going to be on penalties because probably Saka is going to be on them. So pretty much that's it with the strikers. And in midfield, to be honest with you, I find it the most difficult part on a free, because again, you're not going to spend a lot of money, and I think that I should go for someone like Saka, I should go for Palmer, maybe a Bruno Fernandes, and other than that, let's just take a look at some midfielders. Someone like Foden is going to rise up in price like crazy. I have him in my own team. I'm going to have him for Game Week 17, so happy days. But on a free hit in Game Week 16 against Crystal Palace away, I think that he's going to start for what's worth. I think that he's going to get good minutes, and he's in a really amazing form. So you can make a case about Foden on a free, but honestly, I just want to go against Manchester City in this fixture at least. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes, Palmer, we talked about them. Rice, we talked about him. But Semenyo against Manchester United away is just not the fixture I want to target on a free. Although Semenyo could well do really good against Man United. Cunha, I'm not really trusting the minutes at the moment. Trossard, maybe, if he's going to be fit and he's not going to play in the Champions League, I could may well go for someone like Trossard as a differential. Soboslai, Gakpo, Liverpool players, again, they are playing against Brighton at home. I just don't think that this is the best fixture to target. And Liverpool at the moment, I just can't make up my mind what to think about Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan at the moment. There is a big crisis, so I'm just not sure if I want to go for a player. If I would go for a midfielder from Liverpool, probably it would be still Gakpo at the moment. Bruno Guimaraes, although he scored from a corner, I don't think that I'm going to go for him. Enzo Fernandez against Everton at home. Palmer is going to be back, so he's not going to be on penalties. Odegaard is an interesting one. Doku, not interested. Anderson, not interested. Neto could be also a nice differential on a free hit. Yeah, Minte, Kudus, McAllister, Paqueta, Rogers again could be a nice option, but I just don't really like the numbers for Rogers this season. I just don't think that he's having the best season in terms of expected goals, expected assists, in terms of FPL in general. So again, yeah, there aren't a lot of good midfielders at the moment. I could go for a big punt to go for someone like Florian Wirtz if he's going to get uh, little minutes in the Champions League, and we assume that he's going to start against Brighton. He could be a nice differential, obviously, but do I want to go there for 8 millions? Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. I'm not sure. Yeah, other midfielders from Fulham, Sessegnon, Wilson. Probably it would be Harry Wilson if I want to go for one of them. So yeah, this is pretty much the talk about the free. If we look at defenders, I'm not going to go for Riley, not going to go for Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Timber, Hincapie, decent. I'm not going to go for Munoz. Uh, Gay, Chaloba could be an option. Cucurella, as I said before, could be an option. It really depends who's going to start for Chelsea in the Champions League. Collins from Brentford could be okay, but again, it really depends how you want to distribute the fines, because you could go for cheaper defenders like Anderson, like Collins, like I don't know, Matty Cash from Aston Villa in defense, and just go for full force attack. But again, let's try to do other things. Um, so let's pretend I'm going to go without Erling Haaland, and then yeah, let's just put someone like Watkins in. Now, it could be Ekitike, it could be Alexander Isak. It doesn't really matter. If you're not going to go for Erling Haaland, you're going to afford anyone you want. And also, what you can do here, again, you could go for someone like Mohamed Salah, which is not out of the question. But again, at the moment, probably not going to go there, because at that price on a free hit, especially, you don't know if he's going to start. You don't know if he's going to get good minutes. So yeah, probably not. Now, talking about other midfielders, let's try to put a Trossard here. Let's try to put here an Anderson in defense. Uh, yeah, let's go for someone like Neto. So I'm going to do another free draft for you if you want to go a little bit different. For an example, now here you need to go for another goalkeeper. Let's say we're going to go for Leno, and we're going to go with double Fulham defense against Burnley, which is not out of the question. Here again, we have three players from Arsenal, Trossard. Maybe you could include here someone like Gakpo. If you don't want to go for Thiago, let's just put here Obi from Manchester United and upgrade to Gakpo. And yeah, then you'd have Timber, Saka, and Trossard, three players from Arsenal, Palmer, Neto, and James. Let's say here instead of Cash, Anderson, Leno, or you could have Martinez. I have 6 millions in the bank, so you see what I'm talking about. You can have a lot of options on a free, and honestly, you could even go for Bruno Fernandes here, but again, yeah, you could even go for someone like Isak or Ekitike, probably. So yeah, you can do a lot of things, obviously, on a free. Now with this team, you'd have just Palmer and James, Reece James from Chelsea, which is fine. You're going to have Timber, Saka, Trossard, Gakpo, Isak, Bruno Fernandes, Watkins. So again, you could do a lot of things. Let's just take a look also at what the AI is suggesting us for a free. Just to end this video, Sanchez, Chaloba, Palmer, Timber, Saka, Rice, Ahmad, Soboslai, Konate, Raul Jimenez, and Erling Haaland. So, okay, yeah, talking about the free, I think that we covered enough. Let's see how much this is going to change during the week. Hopefully, everyone had a decent game week, myself included. My game week at the moment is not great. Munoz is out of the squad. Probably the injury is minor, so he's going to be back for game week 16, for game week 17 for me. But yeah, my gaming so far is not amazing. I'm on a slightly small red arrow, but yeah, really happy that I got Foden in at least. Please let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about my free team, and also if you're using the chip, what would you change if you were in my place. Thanks a lot for watching this video this long. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye. Bag pura lor, când mă întreabă oamenii de unde sunt le zic de va. Apoi îmi bag